Hey everyone, you can probably tell we're on chess.com right now, and that's for a very good reason. And it's because in this video, I will be reviewing some of the rapid 10-0 games I've been playing, mostly just yesterday. Um, I play chess in kind of bursts. Some days I play a lot. Most days I don't play like any at all, maybe just a couple blitz games or something like that. But yeah, so as you can see here, I played a few games. Don't mind the first one. I played it literally like when I shouldn't have been playing it because I was very tired. But every other game, including this loss right here, is a game where I was fully dedicated to trying to play a good game. And you can see I've analyzed some of them already. Okay, so let's start with this one. I just got some chips next to me, just munch on stuff. Okay. So this one was against Tale 8260. I'm not going to pull up Stockfish because I don't want to get distracted with engine lines and just explain my thinking overall. I believe I won this game. So yeah. C4, English opening. I recently took upon this opening. I really recommend playing it because it's just really fun. I mean, you don't get really bored. You can transpose to like queens, like a queen's pawn opening kind of. You can transpose to like queen's gambit opening, some kind of Catalan even sometimes, or just a standard English position. So you know, knight c3, d3. I want to control this e4 square, control the d5 square. Subconsciously, I want to control that. I don't really think that, but it just looks like a good move from human standpoint. G6, G3, trying to fianchetto my bishop, control the light square diagonal. Bishop G7, which, okay, the way black's playing, I don't really like. If I were black, I wouldn't play like this because you're putting your bishop on the dark square diagonal, but you have a pawn on e5. Typically, I want my pawn on d5 and then place my bishop on the dark square diagonal. So that's generally what I'm thinking right now. I'm like, okay, I'm better off. Even though engine says we're equal, I think I'm better off. Bishop g2, castles, e4. This is kind of like I think a stonewall system where you want to kind of control the d5 square in exchange for a weak d3 square, and you want to put your knight on like e2 and play f4 and castle, things like that. So he plays c6. Okay, I'm not really too sure what his plan is here. Knight e2, put in the castle, knight a6, and now I see his plan. To play his knight on c7, maybe play some d5 idea, which is pretty clever. I castled. Okay, I'm like, okay, now I'm really confused, because what are you doing? I feel like d6 is just not as accurate as something like knight c7 and then d5, but okay, what am I to say? f4, I'm like, okay, what are you going to do about it? Takes, knight takes. Okay, in this position, I remember evaluating it as I'm slightly better. And after playing knight takes, I was like, oh shoot, I probably should have taken with the pawn. Because, you've just got more pawns launching at your opponent, more threats. It's better, but I felt like knight takes was probably safer. Okay, so we have knight c5, just kind of centralizing the knight. Bishop e3, developing the bishop. Knight e6, queen d2, and generally just complete development. Now you can see there that engine really does not like my position here after queen d2. Now I think I probably should have just exchanged and allowed for his bishop to develop. Exchange, and then I played queen d2. And the difference here is, well, actually no, it still allows for knight g4. So maybe queen c1. Maybe something like queen c1. I'm not really entirely sure. Even something like h3. But to stop something knight g4. But the point is knight g4 is really annoying. Also, maybe d5 will be very annoying as well. So maybe taking would be better. Instead, queen d2 was played, trying to reinforce my knight. Maybe play bishop h6 after I exchange. But, black plays knight g4. And now I'm just like, crap. I lost my bishop. What am I going to do? And then I was like desperate to save my bishop, so I went across all measures to save the bishop. So I took bishop g5. Despite black having f6 opportunities and just getting a better position, I'm like, okay, I need to keep my bishop. I can't lose my bishop, and just very stubborn by me. Just getting my bishop pushed all the way back and having an exchange. Tempo's wasted all around. Black has a better position here. Can't even lie about that. But I'm still in the game regardless. And after c5, I'm like, yes, knight d5, and I'm better here again. And I'm clearly better because my knight is centralized, my pieces are maybe equally placed, and I feel like my knight's doing a better job than his dark square bishop. So yeah. Okay, f5, and here I noticed he made a blunder, a pretty significant one actually. The point is, if he takes with the bishop, I have knight e7 check and winning the bishop. Takes with the rook, the same thing, and with the bishop. Just a fork between the king and the bishop. So he went for bishop d4. Now, believe it or not, I actually saw this. I was like, when I was calculating, I was like, oh shoot, this doesn't work. He has bishop d4. And then I realized, after this whole exchange ordeal, I'm technically losing 3 points of material, but you will see. After sacrificing the queen, my pawn is on e6. My knight is defending the e7 square. His king is going to be weak. I mean, just taking the rook is, suicidal. I've opened file. Bishop's going to come into game, maybe on d5 after my knight moves. Bishop h3, bishop e4, hitting the h7 pawn. Everything is going well for me. So this happens, queen a5, and I'm like, yep, I won the game. Knight of 6 check. King of 8. And, okay, the point after this is, okay, maybe I thought he would have played something like king g7, but I'm not really sure why I didn't calculate this out. I think I just thought I would play something like bishop d5, but yeah, something like this, even though apparently it's losing. Maybe I played like 94? Nope, because that allows for something like rook f8, so maybe 97? Nope. I'm actually not too sure here. Okay, no. Okay, I'm actually not too sure. Maybe I just take. Wait, taking also works, but yeah, I'm actually not too sure. But anyway, I'll explore that later. But I'll just play knight f6 and natural bishop d5 move, which sets up still the pin is possible. And I thought, I'm winning here. Way better position. King e7 and knight d7. So I wanted to play rook f7, king here, check there, and then win the rook or something like that. Just my general plan. I thought I could, maybe walk my king up if queen comes in, or I got enough pieces. My bishop is here, so yeah. So queen d2, natural move, rook f7, and he's already losing here because I thought knight f6 saved the day. The reason I thought knight f6 saved the day was because queen d1, king g2, queen d2, king h3, and there's no more queen h5. So I'm like, okay, GG's, I won the game. And it turned out to be right, because after this, you can't check forever, right? And this is where tactics come in, and I win. After like queen b6, there's queen b5 mate. So yeah, that was the first game I played. I feel like this game was very tactical, very positional as well. I definitely learned a lot, so yep. Let's move on to my second game. This one I analyzed. Oh, this one was a really quick one. I'm not going to analyze it. It was just a blunder from my opponent. This was an interesting game. Now, I only won this because I believe I flagged my opponent. But, sometimes how the game goes. So again, oh no, not again. Play d4 this time. And I play the Trompowski. After 94, the Traxler variation. I think that's what it's called. I think it's a Traxler. No, not the Traxler. Is it the Traxler? What is this called? Something with a T, I remember. Anyway, h6, bishop f4, and this is something you should know. I played f3 here because this is a common idea with what is it called? The Jobava London system. F3 is common sometimes, so I just followed this pattern. Engine said the move's fine, not the best. E3, also common with Jobava London systems. Knight c3. And basically I've transposed to some kind of Jobava London system where the position is really whack. You know, knight, he has a knight at d6, knight at d7. I have, you know, kind of a standard Jobava London system where I shouldn't have one. Bishop e7, bishop g3, a6, knight e2. I'm not sure why this is inaccurate. Maybe because I'm supposed to play bishop d3, but I didn't because I was afraid of c5 and then maybe c4, so I didn't want that. b6, I was like, yes, I made a mistake. Bishop g2, I was like, oh no, I made a mistake. Bishop's terribly placed. I don't see how my bishop's ever going to get active. Anyway, I don't see how his bishop's ever going to get active either, so f4, g5 takes, bishop takes, queen d3. The point of queen d3 is both controlling the light square diagonal and preparing queenside castling, which would be really great for me. So queen e7, queenside castles, king b1. Getting out of the diagonal, very important here. I played it immediately, I'm pretty sure, which I was like, okay, I need to get out as soon as possible, you know? So c6, knight h3, and my plan here was to play e4 after the bishop moves. So here, and then e4. And then I realized that he had e5. And I'm kind of stuck here. I can't take the pawn, because after knight takes, my queen is exposed to the rook behind the d6 knight. So the best option for me was to push after he plays e5. So push, allowing knight c5 clearance after I pushed, and after queen f3, things were looking dead equal again. So rook g4, rook f1, and bishop here. And I should have saw bishop takes e5, deflecting. Where is it? Is it bishop? No, it's not bishop takes e5. Oh, what is it then? I don't actually know. Anyway, b4 is the best one. Oh, b4. Okay, this is. Oh yeah, this is the move that I just never would play. I'm not even sure Magnus Carlsen would play this move. This is just hilarious. I mean, who's gonna play this b4 randomly on the other side of the board? That's such an engine thing. I'm kind of pissed off at that, but yeah. Anyway, so I played knight of 2. It's a really strange move. Yeah, it's not really natural either. I just want to protect the pawns here, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I was running low on time as well, so queen takes, f5, pawn takes f5, knight takes f5, queen h3. This move both attacks the knight and sets up g5. So after knight moves, take, exchange. And I should have played g5 immediately and taken the pawn, but I wanted to centralize my knight first, which engine calls blunder, even though the evaluation doesn't change. Or it does change by 1. Okay, but it's still winning, kind of. I'm not as winning as before, though. So knight takes, rook takes, and then I play g5, take the pawn, exchange, c3, kicking the knight. And here I missed this wonderful idea to exchange, attack the pawns, protect the pawn, and promote. Eat all his pawns and stuff. But I'm below a minute now, so I'm like panicking. You know how it is, especially with rapid when you haven't been playing fast the rest of the game, and suddenly you have to play fast. It's just a bit overwhelming. But yeah, as you can see here, I kind of outplay my opponent. I'm up a pawn, which is probably the highest chance of me winning than him, but and theoretically it's a draw. So yeah. And finally, I want to go over one more game, just one more. Let's see, which one should I go for? There's this one, this is one. Okay, let's see what happened this game. I'm not actually too sure what happened. Was this another game where I flagged him? Or her? But him, his name is Jeff. Hello, my name is Jeff. Okay, so I'm here. Oh, I'm black this game, finally. So d5. I played a semi-Slav, I think. Semi-Slav. Some theory here. I actually don't know theory. I just played the best. Okay, b6 was a blunder, and this was something I would never expect, and I'm not entirely sure why. If anyone in the comments can tell me, that'd be great, but I think it has something to do with like this, and then this, maybe? No? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but if someone can tell me in the comment section, that'd be great. I mean, this is b6 such a natural move, I can't really understand. Anyway, a3, bishop d6, queen c2, it's all very normal. Just expanding, knight f6. Bishop g5, h6, bishop h4, bishop e7. Okay, this is a very typical position where do this, and you know, c5, discovery, attack on the, I mean not discovery, just attack on the queen. Queen e3, takes, rook d8, centralizing the rook, rook c8, centralizing the rook c5, tempo, queen h4. But queen h4 is really interesting. And the reason why I say this, actually no, moving back here, I was extremely scared of knight b5. And the reason, okay, after this, yeah. The reason I'm extremely scared of knight b5 is because I can't play like rook c8, which is the most natural move because knight d6. So that would mean I would have to play like rook c8, undeveloping my rook. And, you know, this is just terrible for me, I think. I just don't like it. Or I can play rook takes, and like queen x c4, but after this, there's knight d6. What I didn't realize was there's queen g4, or something like that. Or maybe like queen c2. So there is no knight takes b7, or you get mated. So that's I kind of overlooked that. So, you know, now looking at it, taking was probably the best option. So instead, at queen h4, he didn't even play that move actually. He just blunders his knight. I missed the fact that bishop c8 is protected by my rook, which is so newbie of me. I exchange the rooks, and then I take the c4 pawn. Takes my pawn, I play this move, throwing the rook in the pawn. I take this pawn and play queen f6, centralize. Like more piece shuffling, and yeah, this game was, and then I flagged him. So yeah, these games I think you face a lot around the 2000 level where players play, they don't fall for things tactically as much. Mainly, it's just positional ideas that you have to know, or just flagging, which I do often. But yeah, like that, you kind of flag there. But in terms of winning without flagging, you're gonna need to know a lot of opening middle games and end games, and you know, piece dynamics, things like that. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry for being at chess.com today. I mean, you know, personally, I don't like the interface as much as Lichess, but yeah. Anyway, it has more ads and stuff like that, and it's a bit, you know, the feeling is a bit laggy. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Let me know if you want to see more similar videos in the future. I'll get back to my rapid walkthrough series probably just next week, and yeah, sorry, I'm kind of busy right now with school, so it might be a while before I upload my next video, but yeah, don't worry about it. It will be up soon. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.